Okay, take a deep breath, don't move. When he says don't move, I can see the monitor go like this. A contraction was coming. Okay, it's time for C-section. I was like, no. And the doctor came and they said she will lose, I don't know, oxygen and
Yeah,
blood
because I
pressure.
think this am I being a bad mom because I feel sad or I can't do a task because of how I feel. Like. Hey guys, welcome back to Different Faces. I'm Pamela,
And I'm Fatima.
and this is episode 2. If you have not seen or heard episode 1, you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
So our previous podcast was about our pregnancy stories. We didn't really have a chance to go into our birth stories, which we thought it was like a completely different topic. And I feel like everybody has a different birth story, and there's so many like scary ones out there. So we wanted to bring you guys two very different birth stories that were positive.
And before we start today's episode, I want to remind everyone that April is Autism Awareness Month. This month is more than just awareness, it is about understanding, compassion, patience, and creating a world where everyone feels accepted just as they are. And to the ones on the autism spectrum, the families, the caretakers, the parents, we see you, we honor you, we see your strength, and it does not go unnoticed. And here in Different Faces, we always talk about honoring the different seasons, the journeys, and how we experience life in different ways. And autism is a beautiful reminder that every mind experiences life in its own unique way. So, today we're going to be talking about our birth stories, how we prepared, what we experienced, our raw and unfiltered stories.
All right.
You want to go first?
I can go first. Yes, definitely. How I prepare? I mean, I'm a planner. I am a perfectionist. So I was ready, I think, month fifth or sixth. And what I mean with ready is like, sounds maybe sounds a bit much, but I went touring hospitals and I wanted to see like where was my baby going to be born. I was taking classes for breathing, I was doing yoga, I had my maternity bag packed.
How
um,
many months did you have your bag ready?
I think it was like month 6
Oh
that
wow.
I
Okay.
had it like packed and ready. And then month 7, I put it like downstairs, really close to the first floor for whatever reason. Um, so yeah, it's funny because you can be a planner and then your birth story could be completely different than what you
Oh
planned.
yeah.
And that's kind of like where what my case went to. So how did you prepare? How did you plan?
So me, I prepared by having a doula that guided me and taught me a lot of things. Walking, yoga ball, all that. Um, Unlike you, I had my bag ready maybe like a week or 2 weeks before I actually gave birth. Yeah, because I just, I was like gathering things here and there, but like fully prepared by the door, it was maybe like a week or two before. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the
Everybody's
fact
different.
I think it's so cool that you had a doula. I don't know what your idea of birth was prior to pregnancy or what your expectations were,
Hmm.
but this was my first pregnancy and I like everybody wanted to find out how my birth story was going to go. And everybody thought I was going to give birth at home and like a tub or had a doula. Like I guess I give those
Oh my God,
vibes.
that's exactly what I wanted.
And everybody was like asking me and I was just like, because she's my first one, because I'm past 30, because
Hmm.
I had, gestational diabetes. I think I want to go to a hospital.
Okay.
Not to mention I had insurance, so I was like, okay, I think that's the route. But I wanted to be safe. Like I wanted to be the most natural hospital experience. So that's why I was doing my breathing exercises and I was doing yoga. And in my mind, it was like, no epidural. I'm not gonna have a C-section. I'm gonna just push. And that was like my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I had communicated to my husband. And that's how in my mind, that's how it was gonna go. You had
Okay.
any expectations and like plan, like this is how it should be?
Yes, I actually had a birth plan, like written out on a paper. I wanted like no epidural, C-section like no C-section if possible. Obviously, certain things make you have a C-section, you can prevent it. But yeah, no epidural. I didn't want C-section. I didn't want no medication at all. I also wanted to have a home birth, but insurance, money, like it just wasn't possible at the moment. Um, but yeah, I wanted to go as natural as possible, as natural as I could at an actual hospital.
Oh, so you
But yeah,
did
that
have
was
it at a hospital. I don't know why I thought you had it at
yeah.
home.
I wanted to, but I didn't.
Okay. So
I
actually
almost.
that is actually more expensive than having a hospital birth.
No, not necessarily, but for example, if you have it at home, not all insurances cover a home birth because they don't want to be liable. If something happens to the mom or the baby, they don't want to be liable, so they won't cover it. Some, I don't know how you call it in English, parteras, the ones
Um,
that they're not doctors, but they
midwives.
do midwives. I'm sorry, yeah. Some midwives do a home birth, and some insurances do cover them, but not all. So it's kind of hard to like find one that takes insurances. Most of them, you have to pay them out of pocket.
Did you ever have like a fear of giving birth? Was that like part of your fear?
Fear of, I would probably say the pain because I didn't know what to expect. My first baby, I was like, I knew it was gonna hurt. I didn't know if I could take the pain. Like I feel like I have a pretty high pain tolerance. Um, but I would probably say more anxious, more nervous than anything.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, my mind didn't go into like, am I gonna suffer at giving birth? No, my mind went to like, okay, am I gonna be okay afterwards? Like taking care of the baby,
Yeah,
and not necessarily like, am I gonna suffer during labor? I didn't think about it as much, or I didn't allow my mind to go there. Um,
exactly. Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
didn't do that to myself. But I mean, actually, I'm interested to see for you how contractions went because for me, when it was like week 40, I was really starting to like, my belly was so big. I was started to feel those period cramps that everybody talks about, but they were
Hmm.
random. They were
Okay.
random. And you hear and you read, and the doctor tells you that if they're not consistent, then you're not in labor. So I would just dismiss the number. I would just pause with the pain, and I was like, okay, if this is what contractions are, then I think I'll
Hmm.
be fine. And then when the time comes, you're like, okay, no, I'm not gonna be okay. Oh my gosh, this is
And they also say like if you can talk through the contractions, then you're not ready for like it's not time yet.
oh, I could talk, but I didn't want no one else talking. I wanted. I was like, no one said. It's funny because I had to have my mom. I'm like, mom, I'm having this pain, and I need you here. And my
Hmm.
mom had to come and stay in my house for like 2 3 days.
Okay.
because for whatever reason, I didn't want Camilo to say, I didn't want my husband to say anything to me, because until the pain was gone, I wanted silence, and I wanted everybody to focus on the pain and my breathing like I am.
Okay. Oh my God.
How
That's
many
so funny.
how many days or hours before you gave birth did you had these contractions?
I had the contractions hours before I gave birth.
This is how
So
our story is so different.
yeah, so for me, I remember so a Saturday, I was 37 weeks and 6 days. So that Sunday, the next day, I was going to be 38 weeks. So I was 37 weeks and 6 days. That Saturday, we went to Costco. I walked a lot. Um, Normal day. We came home. I took the best nap of my life. Like I never had taken a better. I literally fell asleep on the couch. And then at nighttime, maybe like at 8, TMI, but we had relations.
What?
Yeah, so we did that, and then maybe like we were gonna go to sleep, maybe like half an hour. I literally felt like a balloon popped inside of me. Like a little, because it was everything was out like a little pop sound, and I was like, oh my god, like I think my water just broke. I got up, I ran to the bathroom. As soon as I got to the bathroom, everything just
Like you
like
see
gushed
literally
out.
water?
Yeah, like literally, like if I was peeing, but I couldn't control it. There's like just everything fell down. So then I came back to the room and I was like, oh my god, like my water broke. And then he was like, okay, relax. Like, what do we do? I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And then at that moment, I really wasn't feeling pain. So I was still fine. So I texted my dude. I was like, my water just broke. And then she was like, how are you feeling? Listen to your body. Like, don't go to the hospital yet because then you might spend like, even just because your water broke doesn't mean that you're ready to give birth. So just listen to your body. And I was like, okay. So then maybe 10, 15 minutes more, I go to the bathroom and I wipe and I see blood. So that scared me. I was like, okay, I need to go now because what if there's something wrong, like, and I just
Hmm.
don't know. So then we got ready, and as soon as we were walking out of the door, this was already maybe like almost 10,
PM.
um, 10 p.m. Yeah. So as I'm walking out of the door, I feel like this shooting pain up my butt, like literally just and then that's when the contraction started hitting. Like I felt it, but it wasn't really. It was more towards my back and my
Uh-huh.
butt and my stomach. And I always thought you would feel it in your stomach, you
Yeah.
know. So it was more like in my back and my butt. And then so we got in the car. My husband's driving, and for some reason, there was so many bumps on the road. With every like the car was hitting every bump, like it just hurt me more. I was like, oh my god. I was thinking like I'm gonna have this baby in the car because I was feeling so much pressure. And so we got to the hospital. I told them my water broke. They took me to a little room to see how much I was dilated. And I told them, I was like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. So they let me go to the bathroom. And then because my husband was there like with me. And I told him, I was like, I gotta push. I was like, I feel like I need to go to the bathroom. Like I have
One
to,
or two?
no, I felt like I had to poop.
Okay.
So then I told that to my husband. He told the nurse, and the nurse was like, "Tell her not to push. Like, tell her to get out." So then I got out. I lay there. They checked me, and I was already 8 centimeters dilated.
Wow.
So they rushed me to the delivery room. I lay down, and then my husband told them that I wanted a midwife, that I didn't want a doctor, and that's with like the advocacy that you have to have if you can't speak to have someone advocate for you. So we wanted a midwife. So then, luckily, one was on call. So she came. Literally, um, I pushed maybe, I don't know, 3 times, 2, 3 times. And then my son was born at 11:59 p.m. And yeah, and the nurses were like, "Oh my God, like you didn't even scream, like the baby just came out so easy." I was like, because I was literally like, I didn't want to talk. I was just focused on my breathing. I wanted like everything, to just. I was blocking every sound off. Like I did not want to hear, talk, nothing. I was. My husband was right there. The doula, when I texted her, I was on my way to the hospital. She also left because she was supposed to be there with me to guide me through the birth, to help me. And she literally walked in as soon as I put the baby on my chest.
Oh.
Like she literally walked in as yeah. And she was like, "Oh my God, like what happened? Like everything happened so fast." I was like, "Yeah, like literally like this, like
Wow.
super super fast."
So for anybody
Yeah.
listening or watching, this is not usually how it is. I just want to make sure your expectations are not directly this. This is like amazing. You don't really hear these birth stories often.
Yeah.
But may I ask you why a midwife and not a doctor? Why did you go that route?
Because normally midwives tend to go the natural way. Like if something is happening, they try to find the natural way to fix things. As to a doctor, they will automatically, okay, C-section. Oh, you have to have this. Like I didn't want any medication, so I wanted to go the natural way. So normally midwives, tend to go for that, the natural.
Got it. Well,
And
no,
they're
my
more in connection with the patient instead of like, 'cause I feel like nowadays, like a lot of doctors push for C-sections. Sometimes when it's not needed. Obviously, sometimes it's very needed.
mhm.
But I feel like, because it's more money. Like they take more money from the insurance when it's C-section.
My story is nowhere near as easy as yours. My story was literally the day before Addie was born. I started to get those random pain. It started in my abdomen, but it did end it in my back. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember thinking, like, that's weird. And they were not consistent, so they were just random. And I remember my mom had already been there, and we decided to just watch a movie and just forget about it. But every so often, they will come back, and they were consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to time them, and I realized that every 20 minutes, every 20 to 30 minutes, I was getting that horrible pain that would begin like a period in my abdomen, like uterus section, and then it would just
Mm-hmm.
end up towards my back, lower back.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom started like, to rub my back. For whatever reason, I didn't want my husband to see me in pain. I always been very strong, but then I couldn't handle it. So we finished watching that movie and we went to the hospital. The hospital
Oh,
wasn't
you
really.
finished watching the movie?
We finished watching the movie.
Okay.
I can't even remember the movie now. It was like a sci-fi, and I don't like sci-fi. I'm like,
Okay.
so we went to the hospital, and they immediately they put this little band
The
on your
monitor.
belly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they said, well, you are having contractions, and they said 18 minutes. Um, but I was not dilated at all, and they said you need to come back when they're like 5 minutes. And I
Okay.
remember thinking like, okay, so they sent me home. They sent me
Oh
home.
no. Okay, so going back to what my biggest fear is going to the hospital and sending me back home. Like I didn't want to do that. I probably would have waited in the parking lot, like just walking around. Like this baby needs to come out.
They sent me home and they told me the baby's not here yet. Like the baby, it's not time. And I went back home and I remember my mom trying to fix me up a plate, and I was just nauseous because the pain made me nauseous. And I
Yeah.
was not comfortable. I was like in a almost like a fetus position. I was not comfortable. I had the pain was so bad in my back area that I couldn't sit down, I couldn't lay down. You have that feeling that you want to go to the bathroom and do number two.
Mhm.
So I did that, and then that night, because I went at nighttime, it was the roughest night. We went to the hospital maybe around 10, came back, and then went to sleep. My parents, my mom and her husband were here at our house. And
Mhm.
then around 4 or 5 in the morning, I got up and I kept going. It's around that stage where you kept going to the bathroom every, like, I don't know, every hour
Yeah.
to pee. So I was doing that. I was restless. And then I started to realize that the time proximity between one contraction and the other was like getting smaller. And once I started to see that it was 5 minutes, I said, okay, I think it's time. It's been 5 minutes, every 5 minutes.
Were you timing it with an app or like just looking at at, at the time?
No, I was just looking at the time. I was
Okay.
looking at the time and it was like contraction. Well, everybody, slept. And then again,
Mhm.
contraction. Then again,
Okay.
contraction. So, oh my gosh, I woke up in the morning. My mom was like, okay, let's go. We went. Now, mind you, it's the pandemic. So they didn't let my mother in. They didn't let her
All
husband
right.
in. It was just Camilo and I. And when we go in, they put the monitor and they're like, okay, yes, it's been, it's 5 minutes. And they check and I was like 1 centimeter dilated. And they were like, okay, um, we're going to be able.
Induce you?
No, we're gonna find your
Oh no.
room. We're gonna find
Okay.
your room, and because of the contractions, we can get you started. Baby's coming, and I
Okay.
was like, okay, bag ready. I think
How far did you live from the hospital?
I was 20 minutes from the hospital, even though
Oh
that
my
wasn't
God.
the closest hospital. But remember, I went touring hospitals.
Yeah, you wanted to have the yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wanted I wanted to have a nice experience. They gave me a nice room. I had like essential oils going.
Oh my God.
Um,
I wanted that too. Like I wanted to set up the room, like peaceful, relaxing. I didn't get
no,
that.
well, I got to do that because I got to the hospital maybe like at 6, 7 in the morning. It took
Mhm.
them like an hour to give me a room. When they gave me the room, I immediately asked for like a ball or like any exercise. So I was like jumping on the wall and I could feel every time you had a contraction, you can see it in the monitor. So I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. This is a real contraction. And
Okay.
then nothing. I think it was like 11 or 12. Them trying to offer me food, nothing. Them checking, and it's like 1.5 centimeter. And I think I went through this to maybe 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I think it was when they said, okay, you are at 3 centimeters, and at this pace, you're having contractions, and at this pace, it doesn't look like you're going to dilate any further. And I was like, no, I am gonna dilate further. Wait, just give
Mhm.
me. So I started doing exercises, and a few nurses came and started doing exercises with me, and I was very determined to push this baby. And then the doctor comes back 3 more times and I'm dilated at 3 centimeters. And the third time, the doctor says, listen, I understand that you communicated to the nurses that you want to have a natural birth. What we're going to do is we're going to induce you and see if that go ahead and
Helps.
pushes the baby. So I said,
Mhm.
okay. Camilo
I've
was there.
heard, sorry, not to cut you off,
Hmm.
but I've heard that when you get induced, the pain is worse than when you have like the pain from your own body.
The pain was worse. The
It was
pain was
worse.
the pain was bad. Um, the pain was so bad that from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock, I was just trying to hold it, and
Mhm.
at 7 o'clock, a doctor came for like the second or third time and said epidural, and I said yes.
Yes.
Like like I wanted a permanent marker in my forehead that said epidural, please.
Right now.
Um, because in my mind it's like if I can't do it by myself, I'm gonna have an epidural, but I'm pushing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as he tells me to sit straight, don't move, do not move. And they tell you, right, if you move, you can even like lose the ability to walk because of
Oh
the
my gosh,
injection.
so scary.
I have the big, huge belly that I had with the monitor on. And as soon as he's like, okay, take a deep breath, don't move. When he says don't move, I can see the monitor go like this. A contraction was coming. And every time I had a contraction, I had to be on forward with my
Mm-hmm.
belly all the way in the bed or in the floor. So I can, for whatever reason, I needed to be in a fetus position to be able to like even withstand a contraction.
Mm-hmm.
But he said don't move, and I didn't move. And he he put the injection, and he said, "Oh my gosh!" Right when that contraction came, and I was so scared, but I didn't move, and I didn't feel the injection. I didn't feel the epidural at all
Ah, you
because
didn't feel it.
no, because my pain went in the contraction. Like I was breathing for
Okay.
the, I was like, oh, contraction, but I didn't even feel the epidural.
Also, the pain from the contraction was bigger than the pain from the needle.
Yes, yes,
Damn.
girl. And after that, they came to check, and I was at 3. I was at 3. I had Adi at 9:49, and I had
Yep.
contractions from
I
the
am.
day prior. So I had contractions for 24 hours. From the
Damn.
moment I went to the doctor the night before at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
until the day that I gave birth. So 24 hours of contractions. They tried to induce me. They broke my water. They forcibly broke my water, and I did not get dilated. And then they're like, "Okay, it's time for C-section." I was like, "No." And the doctor came in. They said she will lose, I don't know, oxygen and
Yeah,
blood
because I think
pressure.
there's a period of time from when the water breaks, you have like a certain amount of time until the baby has to come out. So yeah, damn.
And I was like, "Okay." This, and then when they mentioned that she could be at harm's way, that's all you have to mention for a mother to say, "Okay, no, let's go."
Yeah,
And
like
I just
whatever it
remember,
takes.
yeah. And at that last moment, it's when they're trying to see whether if my husband had a COVID test on file, and I was like, I
What?
don't. I was like, you cannot go without a COVID test, and I was like, oh my god, that's when I got crazy.
They
My
had
husband.
all that time. They had 24 hours to figure out what. I mean,
I was like, my husband's
that's
coming with
crazy.
me. He's coming with me. I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm not having this baby now. So he came with
Oh
me,
no.
and all I remember was the doctor said, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from Peru." And he's like, "Oh, so what is the first thing you're gonna eat when you're done?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna have some ceviche." That's the last thing I heard. And then it's just like a blur, like a
Oh,
blur.
oh, because you were sedated.
Yes, like I can see things moving, and then I saw Ari. It was like so fast. I saw Ari. I did not feel any pain at all.
Okay, that's
I
good.
felt like my body was like shaking, and I can see
Oh my
Camilo's.
God, 'cause you were moving everything.
Mhm.
Ay.
My body was like this,
Oh
like
my God.
okay. I'm like, why are they
So
shaking?
did he see everything like
He saw
your
everything.
insides and everything? Oh my God.
He was on the other side. His face was worrying me. His face was like he was looking like how they have like a sheet or like a
Uh,
curtain.
yeah,
He
like for
was
you not to see
Yeah, he was looking,
it.
and then he was looking at me because I was just smiling. Like I was just like, okay.
You're probably trying to see like you don't feel that? Like
And he's a paramedic.
oh my God. That's crazy.
hmm
Wow.
Once they put the baby on you, and I know you can relate. Once they put the baby on you, like all the worries go away, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think that my expectation was one thing, and the reality was a different one. But that doesn't take away the fact that it was a positive birth. That
Oh, for sure.
things went great. I have a healthy baby. I have a smart baby. Um, my recovery, although it was maybe a bit slow, nothing happened to me. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that sometimes you can plan, and in my case, I plan for everything. And sometimes just things don't go the way that they should.
For sure. Yeah. You can have a birth plan, you can, have everything like, okay, I want this, I want that, but your body is gonna do its own thing, you know? And I think like the important thing is that the baby's born healthy and the mom is healthy at the end, so it doesn't really matter how the baby comes out,
No.
as long as they're both good.
Maybe if that was the best outcome, I will be afraid of like ruptures or stitching, and you hear those stories as well, and
Hmm.
those stories are also terrifying.
Yeah. For me, I really didn't tear much. I heard of this trick that you're supposed to do before you give birth, like weeks before. Like you grab coconut oil and you rub it like you know TMI. There's a little space. There's a little space between the vagina and the butt, right? Like the little, So there you're supposed to rub coconut oil like every single day, like weeks before your birth, and that's supposed to help with ripping. So I was doing that. For my first son, my only son, for my first baby, I ripped and they did like one or two stitches. It wasn't really much. And for my second birth, which is my daughter, I haven't gotten to the story yet, but with her, I remember it was it a Tuesday? I think it was a Tuesday. We went to my son's doctor's appointment. He was getting his shot because it was a wellness appointment, and then I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to pee and I wiped and I saw blood. So I was like, "Oh my god, it's happening again." So I went back to the room. I told my husband, I was like, "I just saw some blood," and he was like, "Okay, how do you feel?" Because I was 38 weeks with her, or 39, one of those. And I was like, no, let's just finish the visit because I'm fine. Like I don't feel anything. I didn't feel my water break or nothing. So my son was getting his shots and he was crying. And then literally minutes later, I start feeling contractions. I was like, okay, this is the first one. And then, so then I started feeling more and more pressure. And then I told my husband, like, we gotta go. So I told the doctor, I was like, we need to like finish this because I'm having like I need to go to the hospital. So we were checking out the doctor's office, and then um, we got in the car, and then it was just like more consistent. Like they were coming like faster. And then I called my mom. I was like, "You need to get out of work," because my dad was gonna stay with my son, and my mom was gonna come with me and my husband. So we dropped off my son with my dad. We picked up my mom, and then I told my husband because there was a hospital really close, like literally 2 minutes away from the house, but I didn't want to go there.
Okay.
So I was like, we might just have to go there because I think the baby's coming like right now. So we go there, and I go through the emergency, and I said, I'm having contractions, and the lady looks at me. She says, "We don't have a labor and delivery here."
Ah, something
I
we
was like,
should have looked into. Oh my god.
well, my plan wasn't to go there. I wanted to go to Memorial. So then I was like, so where do I go? Because Memorial was like maybe like 20, 15, 20 minutes away from me. And she was like, do you think you'll make it to Memorial? That's the closest one. And I was like, well, I have no choice. So I left. Like I literally walked out. I got in the car and I was like, you need to like go fast. And so we're in the car. This time I'm timing my contractions. Like I didn't get to do that with my first one, but this one I wanted to time it to see like, how fast it was coming or whatever. Meanwhile, My husband's playing music to distract me from the pain. My mom kept asking me about like random questions. Like they both just wanted to distract me. And in my head, I'm like, shut up. Like, don't talk to me. Like, I need quiet. But I didn't say that because I didn't want to. I was literally just like focused, like, I was in my head. Like, I didn't want. I think like if I would have gotten mad or like take it out on them, it was just gonna freak me out more, and then it was just gonna be like, because I literally like the baby was coming, like I felt so much pressure. So we made it to the hospital, and I told us like I need to push right now. I told the receptionist, and she asked me for my ID, so I gave her my ID, um, and then I was like, I need to push right now. Like we need to go to the room. And then they took me to the room where they check you how dilated you are, because it was literally like a big room with like a whole bunch of beds, like
Yeah.
so I was there with the curtains, and then they put me on the bed, and then they checked me and they were like, oh, this baby's coming, and I was like, yeah.
I've been
So
telling
then
you guys.
so the doctor came to me, like the doctor came to where I was, because they were not going to have time to take me to the delivery room. So the doctor came, and I literally, it was maybe like 10, 15 people all around me. Like so many nurses like looking. And then my mom and my husband were there. And then so they cut my clothes. They were like, is it okay if we cut your clothes? I was like, yeah. So they cut my clothes, and then the doctor was like, are you ready to push? And I'm like, yeah. Like I've been wanting to push since I got here. I mean, I didn't tell her that, but that's what I thought. And so I literally pushed like a couple times. I don't even know how many times I pushed. And she just came out like, "Poof," and yeah, and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" Like like that was so fast. Like literally, I didn't even like, I didn't even have time to like process like anything that was happening. All I knew was a whole bunch of people around me, and I was just pushing. And then
Aww.
they took me to another room to recover. Yeah, like again, like super fast. Like
Do you
I
think
feel
there's
like
something that you did for you to have just such easy pregnancies?
um I don't know. I don't think I did anything out of the ordinary. Like just I mean, walking obviously helps a lot. You know, the bouncing, the ball bouncing, but I don't think I did anything that like I don't have a like a secret or anything like that.
Hmm.
So I really think like it just depends on like everybody's body. Like what your body wants to do. you know like because I even think to myself, like, let's say in a crazy world where I decide to have a third baby, I can't be lucky three times. There's no way. I feel like my third one will be like a completely different story. Like it will be like, oh no, you gotta have a C-section, you're gonna feel like this pain.
I
Like you're
don't
gonna
think
go
so.
through it. You're gonna go through it. That's why I don't want one. Like I can't be lucky three times. There's no way.
I think that your
So,
body is just like a baby making machine, maybe. I think that
ah,
if you decide to have
look
another
at
baby,
you.
it's a lot, I know, but I'm just saying, like, at
Yeah.
least you don't have to worry about the birth part.
Hmm.
And
Maybe,
honestly,
who knows?
I don't, I know we're not having another one, but if let's say, if we had decided to have another one, I will probably have to go the C-section route again.
Why?
Because for whatever reason, my body was not dilating. Three
Yeah,
centimeters.
but I mean, maybe that could have just been, because dilating is when like the baby is just pushing down on your cervix and it opens up. Maybe she just didn't want to come out. It's like, you know what, I'm comfortable here, like, so
Could be. Yeah.
like
But for
maybe I
anybody
could be
that,
lucky again. Maybe you could have a different experience. So
yeah, for
yeah.
anybody that is going to see, the C-section route, I think that I had a good experience as far as like not feeling the pain.
Hmm.
Recovery, I think the next day after I had a C-section, I woke up and I was like feeling a little nasty, like, oh, I need to take a shower. And I took a shower and I did, they have you walking. So I started
Mm-hmm.
walking. And it's not till the day after that I felt the pain. Um, and it was like, oh, maybe the epidural was wearing down. So,
Mm,
but the pain was minimum. Um, the
okay.
pain was like, okay, you cannot laugh so loud, you cannot sneeze right now, or the first time you go back to the bathroom and you have to push,
Oh my God.
that's when things start hurting. But it's nothing
I
compared. Mhm.
sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's nothing compared to like the contractions.
Yeah. No, I was so scared to go to the bathroom after giving birth. I was like, oh my God, like if, especially for the first one that I did rip a little bit, I was like, oh my God, like how am I gonna wipe? How am I, if I need to go number two, like how is everything gonna just open up back up? Like, like I was so scared to go to the bathroom. And one thing that I forgot to mention for both births, after I gave birth, my legs literally started shaking, like uncontrollably. Like my legs were like I couldn't stop it. Like my legs were like literally just shaking. Like they were like their own thing. I was like, why are my legs shaking like this? And they were like, oh, it's normal. Like you just went through like a lot. And I was like, I couldn't stop my legs from shaking. It was so weird. And so after birth, is there anything that you learned about yourself, or like, did you experience anything, that you haven't experienced before? Emotions, anything?
After my birth, I realized how important um, your mother really is for those who have their mother with them.
Mhm.
I went to my mother's house the first 2 months after Ari was born because I felt like I needed to be taken care of at the same time I needed to take care of this baby. And
Mm,
and it's hard when you become like now I'm a caretaker, but at that
mhm.
moment I also needed to be taken care
Have
of.
someone, yeah,
Yes, I couldn't sit, I couldn't get up. I needed help for everything. And I know everybody has a different C-section story, but my healing took a little bit.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, you were literally just opened up, like that's, pretty big.
and if you add to that this strong desire I had to breastfeed,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
I was
That's a
breast.
whole another story.
That's another.
Yeah,
So I think I learned that you can have a lot of friends and you can have a lot of support system, but if your mother is there, I was blessed to have my mother throughout the entire process. I think my mom slept with me the first like week or two because
hmm,
Camila was with me maybe like the week that I was getting ready to have the baby, and then
okay,
maybe like 3 or 4 days after. But reality hits in, and everybody has to go back to work.
yeah,
So he had to go back to work, and really, my mother was there to really help me bathe, help me breastfeed, help me, change diapers the first few days. And what I learned was how important your mother is, or a
yeah,
motherly figure.
yeah, yeah. For me, after birth, I realized like how strong and resilient like our bodies are, or we are, you know. Like literally, like giving birth is such a big thing. Like you literally have like this big surgery, really, because they're opening you up, they're moving all your organs to take a human out, and then you get stitched back up and like expected to be back to normal within a couple days, and like pushing a baby out like it's pretty big. So we definitely, pretty strong. Yeah, and having someone there for me, I didn't have my for my first baby, I didn't have my parents there because I was in another state. But having the support from my husband, that was very big. And my parents did come to visit me. Uh, my son was a month when they came, And it was amazing to have them there, like my mom, my dad. And when they left, because they were there maybe like a week, they couldn't really stay long. So when they left, I was like, oh my God, they left, like they're gone. Like what do I do now? Um, I wouldn't say that I experienced postpartum depression, but when they left, I feel like I did feel like, like baby blues is what they call it. So not having them like triggered that a little bit, but thankfully it didn't go to postpartum depression. I know that a lot of women they experience, postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety or even postpartum psychosis, which is like pretty heavy. Um, Anxiety, I feel like I experienced a little bit of anxiety, especially at bedtime. And I feel like every mom, like, oh my God, like, are they breathing? I need to watch them, are they okay? Are they hot? Are they cold? But thankfully it wasn't anything like debilitating, and I know that a lot of moms do experience that. And, you know, whoever experiences, like postpartum depression, anxiety, or psychosis, like, you know, it's better to get help, for you and your baby because, your mental health has to be at its best for you to function good.
Yeah, and not to keep it to yourself. I think that being very vocal about it could save you and the baby. I,
Yeah. Yeah, and
I
there's
was
nothing to be embarrassed about. I feel like a lot of women, they're like, oh no, like, am I being a bad mom because, I need help? Or am I being a bad mom because I feel sad or I can't do a task because of how I feel? Like, it's better to get the help, and to catch it early than not.
Yes, I agree. I also was very fortunate not to have postpartum, but I did have those baby blues when I got back home. When I got back home from
Mhm.
my mom's house, just realizing that I was by myself. And I
Mhm.
realized that after that, I was very in tune with my emotions. I had, so my best friend lives in Washington, D.C., and she came to visit me right after I left my mother's house. And she was there for maybe like a week. And during that time that she was there, I remember I was able to take some naps. And my husband was a firefighter at that time. So he would leave every 2, 3 days and be gone for
Mhm.
2 days. And we had like a very we had a few days where I was by myself with this baby that I needed to make sure she stayed alive. And
Yeah.
when my best friend left, I cried like if I wasn't gonna see her again. And I was very emotional around that time. I'm still very emotional, but
I mean, your
Fatima
hormones are over the place.
all over the place. But
Yeah.
it's still the case. Like me prior to motherhood, I did not cry. I can see a movie and I can hear a sad story and I'll be like, oh, sad. I
Well,
feel
that's
bad for
because our brains, when we become moms, our brains completely change. Like,
you.
our brains are technically like rewired. So,
I'm a cry baby now.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love your birth story. It's completely different than mine. I'm a little jealous of how easy it went, but I love
No.
it. I love that for you.
Yeah, everybody has a different experience, which is okay. Like we said before, the most important thing is that the baby's there and that the mom is okay. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so this was our birth stories. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And before we go, we do want to take a moment to take a deep breath. And we want to remind you to honor the face, embrace the growth, become the woman. And this is Different Faces. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.